Good morning, children.
Bonjour.
I'll switch on the light.
Thursday at 5:00 a.m., when the city of Hong Kong is fast asleep, Rosaline drags her 10-year-old twins out of bed for swimming practice.
We have to hurry up because John is waiting for you. Perrine, would you like to use the bathroom first? Then it shall be Estef's turn. Estefi, are you feeling tired today?
A little.
Are you ready? How long will the swimming last today?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half? It's not that much, because isn't it usually 2 hours in the
Sure.
afternoon? Could you hurry up?
3 times a week, these children experience the joy of waking up particularly early.
Perrine, are you doing all right?
A quick stop in the bathroom, Rosaline sets the pace.
I need to ask him to hurry up. Hurry up, he's waiting for you.
Hardly enough time to put on a swimming suit and a jacket, and 5 minutes later, they were ready to go.
Are you ready to leave?
Yes, sure.
All set to go in the water as soon as you wake up. Isn't it too hard?
Yes, a little bit, but I'm fine.
Are there moments when you can't wake up?
Yes.
Waking up at dawn to go swimming. It is by subjecting them to this kind of daily effort that Rosaline Swonder Kid strives to turn her children into little wonder. Sports, studies, they excel in all domains. They have even earned a little fame, for last June they made headlines for achieving the highest score in a world-renowned maths exam for 10th graders. But this devotion is mostly that of their mother, Rosaline, and her tough upbringing. She has just published a book to explain her strict method. And today she is here with her children and her husband, a French businessman, to present the book to the press.
Merci à tous d'être venus aujourd'hui. Quand les enfants ont eu leur A à leur examen de maths il y a 2 mois, ils ont reçu beaucoup de questions pour savoir comment ils avaient fait. Du coup, j'ai proposé à Estef et Perrine qu'on écrive un livre pour partager leurs expériences avec les autres enfants, pour les inspirer et leur dire que ce qu'ont fait mes enfants peut être aussi bien fait par d'autres.
8 years ago, this 47-year-old Malaysian sacrificed her brilliant career in finance to focus completely on their education. To raise them, she uses traditional Asian methods with even more demands. You have to be strict and push them as far as possible for them to excel in all domains.
Ils peuvent réaliser tout ce qu'ils veulent atteindre s'ils s'y consacrent totalement. Ils se fixent des contraintes, de l'autodiscipline et de la motivation. Avec plein d'efforts comme cela, ils pourront arriver à quelque chose.
Une philosophie que ces enfants ont parfaitement intégrée.
Comme je le décris dans le livre, je m'entraîne à 5h30 du matin. C'est très dur. On a besoin de beaucoup d'autodiscipline et de motivation pour le faire. Je le fais parce que c'est une part de mon programme. Et je réussis que si je travaille très dur.
This very strict pedagogy is today trending among the Asian elite. On the other hand, less popular in the West, where since the 1960s, child education has been based on their development and the respect of their desires. In fact, in the last few months, one of these Asian mothers is in the middle of a controversy in the United States. Amy Chua, an American woman of Chinese origins, in her book, which is at the top of the sales there, she develops this pedagogy in a caricatural way.
Never compliment your child in public. A is a bad grade. Your medals should be gold.
Seducation. He criticizes very harshly the laxity of Western.
La chose dont je suis sûre, c'est que les enfants élevés avec une éducation traditionnelle stricte sont définitivement bien plus heureux que ceux qui sont élevés de manière permissive. Je suis aussi professeur et je vois beaucoup d'élèves occidentaux qui ont des parents qui les laissent faire tout ce qu'ils veulent et ils ne sont pas tous heureux.
Immediately, she provoked an outcry. Amy Chua is wrong, said hundreds of American mothers who are multiplying forums and petitions against her, accusing her of turning her children into fairs. What are the principles of education for these tiger moms? Do the children come out unscathed? "5:13 a.m. In the dark night, Rosaline and her kids head for the pool. On the road, there is no time waste. They put on their earplugs, their swim caps. Once ready, Steffi realizes that they are a few seconds ahead of their timed timing.
It's only 5:17 a.m.
Oh yes, it's true.
There's no need to wake up too early. We could wake up 5 minutes later.
To raise these kids, Rosaline always demands the best, so she chose the most famous swimming club in town. Since she wants them to be one step ahead of their age, she insisted for them to swim with 16-year-old teenagers at a higher level. So this morning, even though it's 8 degrees Celsius outside and it's raining, Perrine and Steffi will have to train in this 50-meter Olympic pool under the watchful eye of John, the former coach of the Australian team.
John,
Yes?
can we go? I am too cold.
J'ai trop froid.
Come on, let's go.
Without rest, Steffi and Perrine are going to swim more than 4 kilometers. Despite their young age, the coach does not go easy on them.
Quand vous arrivez au bord de la piscine, n'oubliez pas de bien pousser avec le bout des pieds. Et puis vous donnez un coup de hanche et puis vous repartez très très vite sous l'eau. Vous allez jusqu'au drapeau, vous ne respirez pas dans les premiers mètres. Concentrez-vous un peu s'il vous plaît.
At the edge of the pool, Rosaline doesn't miss anything her twins' performances. She insists on them to swim 12 hours per week. In her opinion, high-level sport is essential for the growth of her children.
Sport gives them a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, lots of natural discipline.
Going to school afterwards and having a regular day, isn't it too difficult? Can they be concentrated?
Yes, they are concentrated. I think maybe they're one step ahead of others because they are very fresh. Are you okay, Steffi? Are you tired?
How was it?
It was tiring.
Why? More than usual?
Yes, more than usual.
Why, you know?
No, I think it's because we have a race coming up in 2 weeks.
So now you're aiming for the medal.
Yes.
How many?
Gold, not silver.
Not silver?
Always being the best is what drives these 10-year-old startups, even at 7 o'clock a.m. Back home, after taking breakfast on the go, they have 30 minutes left before leaving for school. But they can't rest even for a few seconds. Rosaline immediately puts them to work.
Your teacher asked me if you did your writing exercises.
No.
I do them first.
Okay, go for it.
Homework that was not given by their school teacher, but by a private Mandarin teacher. Because in addition to their schoolwork, Rosaline increases home classes in many subjects. Once again, she keeps track of her children's progress.
Are you all right? Is it good? How many letters have you written? Be careful. Whatever you do, you have to be careful.
She herself adds extra exercises to her twins.
Can I ask you to write 10 letters after school henceforth?
If she is so demanding with Perrine today, it is because, in addition to French and English, that they speak perfectly, she wants to enrich the CV of her children with Mandarin.
China is becoming a very important country. To do business with China, it is good to speak Mandarin.
It is 8 o'clock a.m. While the other children are just starting their day, Perrine and Estefi already have 3 hours of nonstop activity. The day is far from over. In the car with the driver that takes them to school, they spend the 15 minutes of road ride reading without talking. They start with a classic day of 8 hours at the Hong Kong Front High School, one of the best schools in the city. At the end of the day, at 5 p.m., direction downtown, Estefi and Perrine are up since 12 o'clock a.m., but they're starting with another sport activity, 2 hours of judo. As always, Rosaline aims for excellence for her twins. They train twice as much as children of their age. Rare fact, at 10 years, both have already obtained their brown belts. Their schedule may seem overloaded, and even though sometimes they are tired, they can't imagine missing a class for fear of being bored.
Maybe on that day, I do not want to do, but the next day, I won't have anything to do if I stop.
Yet on leaving, when their judo buddies discover their schedule, they can't believe it.
For kids that age, it's still pretty impressive. I have never seen such a thing.
Between their 20 hours of sports per week, school courses, and private lessons, Estefi and Perrine have an infernal rhythm. Weeks of more than 60 hours. Is there still a place for games for 10-year-old kids in Rosaline's education? In Perrine and Estef's room, toys do not lack. Well hidden, all toys in a mess.
I had this when I was born. This one I got from my cousins. That one, I had it at Ocean Park.
And on the mezzanine, a lot of books for their age, as well as board games.
Do you have time to play when you are at home?
Yes, but not always. Just during the weekends.
By taking a closer look, they are just logical games.
You have to take out all the pieces.
A puzzle. A tic-tac-toe. Her favorite, a puzzle game where you have to find the right combination to free one of the vehicles.
It's easy because it is the first.
Are these games where you have to think? It becomes increasingly difficult.
Yes.
Rosaline wants all of her children's leisure activities to be educational. As a result, she deprives them of television and video games, which she considers dumbing down. Besides, Perrine doesn't even know what these might look like.
ADS, PSPs.
We do not have.
Would you like to have it or not?
I don't know. I don't even know how to play it.
The only interactive game allowed is chess games on Skype.
Hello.
But Estef's opponent is far from his age.
No, F6 isn't authorized by the rules. F6 isn't possible.
Rosaline has been looking for a world chess reference based 8,000 kilometers away.
This is a chess class with the national master of the Finnish team.
Do you like that he does chess?
Yes, I do. I think it's good for logic and mentality.
Rosaline doesn't give her children a moment's rest, but for this tiger mother, as for her husband, this rigor responds to the demands of modern times. In the evening, the whole family comes together for a moment of relaxation. Well, almost. The children have to guess what wine their father drinks.
Is it a St. Joseph?
Wrong. Perrine?
Saint Estèphe?
Wrong.
2000?
For these parents, everything is a pretext for challenge, even in areas meant for adults. An obsession with competition that they now consider essential to find a place for themselves in this globalized society.
Why do you think that it is important this way, to push the children, to motivate them this way, and take care of it like this today?
Presently, there's a lot of competition in life, and I think it's going to get harder and harder. Like Obama said 2 weeks ago, competition for work. To compete, you need to have a good education to have a place in the future.
It's not going to be as easy for our children, for this generation, compared to generation in which we grew up. It was easy, less international trade, and therefore a less competitive environment.
And for this expatriate who has international experience, Westerners do not have this thirst for success, which young people today in emerging countries have.
Today, when a country becomes richer, we become a little more lazy. You become a little more self-satisfied, so you are less competitive. Today, there are more than 2.5 billion people who are getting richer, and they are really hungry for more. They have a thirst for knowledge that is very impressive. There are so many bright people.
It seems that in 2025, China will become the first world power.
Is it true?
Yes.
Learned in geopolitics, Estèphe is always one step ahead, to the pride of her parents. To prove it, he will solve in front of us in a few seconds a mathematical equation to say the least.
Can you read to us the one you are going to do?
Difficult or easy? I'm doing number 10.
Okay, good.
2 divided v minus 1 divided v plus 1.
Okay. What is your result?
V plus 2 divided with v times v plus 1.
Obsessed with getting their children ahead of others, Rosaline and her husband would like them to move up to grade 11, even though they are today in grade 6. But the school refused. Against all odds, this education also has its limits. This morning at the Hong Kong school, Perrine's day begins with the correction of a mathematics exercise. None of the students of the 6th grade has found the solution, except for one.
Who found it? Impossible. I told you. You read the story, and we understand it.
Perrine is the only one who has it right. In mathematics, like in other subjects, she is one of the best. But in more personal works, she is a little less brilliant. Just like this exercise, the teacher screened a film on poverty in class. He asked students to give their opinion in writing.
Finished. Close our books.
While 3/4 of the class is done, Perrine is having some difficulties to finish.
Okay, regroup. Put on my desk.
Her mate even comes to her rescue to whisper answers to her.
Go gently. Enjoy your meal.
At the end of the lesson, the teacher corrects her copy. For him, there is no doubt about it.
What she writes about the story. I feel lucky, and it's sad that others don't have the same thing. I think there are other students who said a lot more than that.
She excels especially in what is quite automatic.
Automatic, academic, yeah. Opinions on this type of education are therefore divided. According to many specialists, cramming is not enough. It is also necessary to give room for boredom, for children to develop their imagination and critical thinking skills.
So what are the results of this method? However, regarding Amy Chua, the very bossy Chinese mother, her 14-year-old youngest daughter couldn't take the pressure anymore. She rebelled and asked her mother to let her choose her life.